Why is losing weight so hard? You know what I'm talking about. You find an eating plan that finally interests you, you get a gym membership, you put in all this effort to stick to the plan, work out, eat healthy, only to get on the scale every Monday and realize that nothing has moved. And you're like, okay, I need to be more patient. So you keep sticking with it for a few more weeks and it still seems to be slow moving. You end up Googling stuff like how to lose weight faster, why am I not losing weight, how to move past this plateau, and you get into the YouTube scroll hole and you somehow find yourself watching all these videos about all the science behind weight loss, and 4 hours later, you end up at a random cat video on YouTube. In today's video, I want to talk about the idea of weight loss being hard and why you should be stacking the deck to ensure that your weight loss is successful. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Alice and I am a holistic weight loss coach with a background in management, consulting, and finance. My husband and I have lost 90 pounds together ourselves, and through this channel, we put our consulting hats on to help people lose weight and improve their lives. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, and let's get right into it. The goal of stacking the deck with the S.T.A.C.K method is to learn how to stack the deck in your favor so that you don't have to rely on willpower and motivation all the time. We all have finite amounts of willpower and motivation. So how do we actually stack the deck and set ourselves up for success so that we can lose the weight and keep it off forever? The S in S.T.A.C.K stands for science behind the scale. Now, as we all know, the scale is just an outcome of everything that we do. It is an outcome of all of the daily decisions and habits that we make. The problem with the scale is that we place self-value with that number. But the purpose behind science behind the scale is understanding that there is very much science behind weight loss and the scale and the numbers. So back then, when calories still mattered or mattered more than they do today, it seemed like weight loss was a mathematical formula of calories in, calories out. If you're watching this, you probably can relate. As a society now, we are a little bit more sophisticated and knowledgeable about how the body works. And it's not saying that calories don't matter at all. They do matter to a certain extent, but there is just so much gray area when it comes to our metabolism, our hormone, that calories just become one factor in the whole equation. And science has shown that it's not just about calories anymore. And the traditional calories in, calories out approach is just very old school because now there's something called metabolic adaptation. The quality of calories matter, the quality of the ingredients that you eat matter, the macronutrient breakdown, fat, protein, and carbs does matter based on your own physiology as well. Now, for example, in my own weight loss coaching practice, I do see that some people are more sensitive to protein than others. And one way that we can confirm this without guessing is lab work. So getting your fasting insulin tested or testing your glucose levels, or even wearing a CGM throughout the day. That way you don't have to guess about, your fears around gluconeogenesis. Now, if you've watched my channel for a while, then you probably know that we specialize in a lower carb ketogenic way of living, which works for many people, but it also doesn't work for everyone, right? Because there are some people out there that can eat 300 to 400 grams of carbs a day and stay in incredible shape. There is so much more to weight loss than mathematical formulas and numbers. Hormonal imbalances are also another thing that impact weight loss as well, and hormonal imbalances can be influenced by diet and lifestyle, and these things can impede your weight loss efforts. If you do not know how to optimize insulin, blood sugar, leptin, and ghrelin, which impact your hunger, satiety, and fat storage, if you don't know how to manage cortisol and stress, these are all things that play a role in your body's ability to lose the weight and the body fat. So having a basic understanding of how the body's hormonal system works and the levers that you can pull and adjust to optimize your body's hormonal system will be greatly impactful on your weight loss journey. That is why we talk about weight loss coaching in a holistic aspect, because weight loss is not just about going on a diet and counting calories and macros and all that thing. Even though it is one part of the puzzle, it is not the whole puzzle. If you're interested in learning how to lose weight and keep it off forever, then I invite you to apply for my private training, which again, I will leave in the description box below, and I look forward to seeing you all there for those of you who are accepted. The T stands for the barriers of your mind. So we have the body's response to weight loss, food, and exercise, but a huge part of it is also your own psychology. Understanding your own thought process, feelings, and emotions, and behavioral patterns that come up in your head. Understanding how to break old habits and patterns that are not serving you and how to form good ones. Understanding why we have the crutches that we have in our life that stop us from doing the things that we know we need to do. So with weight loss, it's different for every person, but there's usually a thing that prevents people from losing weight. And in my experience, having worked and coached so many people now for weight loss, everyone's thing is different. So it could be emotional eating, it could be stress eating, it could be boredom eating, convenience eating, social eating, food addiction, struggling with restriction when it comes to dieting. This can come out in many forms: body image issues, obsessing over food, binge eating, using fasting as a punishment. A lot of people think that if they have urges to binge or they've engaged in binge eating in the past, that it's something that's very shameful, that they don't want to talk about, they're embarrassed about, but it's really not the case, because binging is also part science as well and part what goes on in your head. And a lot of it is when the amygdala, or the animal part of the brain, has turned on in a protective response for your body, because your brain literally thinks that it's in famine mode. Another thing that can impact weight loss is just lack of knowledge on what healthy means to you. This is definitely a journey where we had to relearn a lot of the things that we once grew up eating and we once grew up knowing about food ingredients, labels. Another thing is that some people have a hard time doing the things that they know they need to do. So discipline, whatever you want to call it. Maybe this means falling off the wagon and having a hard time getting yourself back on. Maybe it's trigger foods. There are specific foods that trigger you that you don't even realize are triggering you. And a part of this journey is figuring out what those foods are. Maybe it's a lack of desire and you just don't care that much because you're not that overweight and your why just isn't that strong. So these are what I call the barriers. So addressing the barriers to your mind that may be blocking you from losing the weight is a big part of success in this journey. So for example, if something that you've struggled with in the past is emotional eating, then learning how to redirect the sources of emotion, developing a strong emotional management system that focuses on non-food rewards, self-care, and positive social interaction is a key part of addressing emotional eating. If you struggle with over dieting and restrictive feelings and it's impacted your self-esteem and your self-image and your body image a little bit, maybe it results in the urges to binge eat or do something that you're not supposed to do, and these things start to become a regular habit, then learning how to make changes to both your thought process, your body image, and your lifestyle to, release any urges that you have in your brain to do things that you shouldn't be doing. If you struggle with commitment and discipline, sticking through to the end, showing up for yourself, maybe you find yourself making excuses for doing the things that you know you need to do, and then you get frustrated when nothing is working, then maybe you need to look at doing some soul searching to get a deeper understanding of why you do what you do, why you have a hard time sticking to the promises that you keep yourself. Maybe this is some form of self-sabotage. Maybe it's your ability to deal with discomfort. So how can you change things up in your thinking and your day-to-day routine to bring more success to you in the goals that you set for yourself for weight loss and fitness and overall health? A big part of that is also learning how to break free of the need for dopamine spikes and instant gratification. So these are all things that can impede our weight loss efforts and our weight loss journey, and they are all barriers of the mind that, in conjunction with the right actions and habits, can help you overcome these hurdles so that you can lose the weight if that's what's keeping you stuck. The A in S.T.A.C.K stands for abundance. So as a part of this journey, you need to learn how to cultivate feelings of abundance and food security. Because if your desire to lose weight comes from a place of lack or it comes from a place of restriction, it will never work. Because the human brain is never meant to feel restricted or feel lack in the long term. It will never work sustainably in the long term if that's all you think about. When you approach weight loss from a place of abundance, the language that you use around it should change as well. So instead of viewing weight loss as discipline or punishment or something that's really hard, like you have to climb up a mountain where if you don't get to indulge, you're missing out, view it as an act of self-love and an act of self-respect that you do for yourself because you love yourself. Doing the right thing for yourself is always self-love. If you see it as a form of punishment or restriction or like you're missing out on life, then that's kind of that instant gratification we're trying to train ourselves out of seeing. Because the truth is, easy choices, hard life, hard choices, easy life. So if you view it as something that you have to torture yourself through, that it's brutal, you gotta white knuckle your way through it, be careful of the language and just be cognizant of the things that you say to yourself around this process. It's like telling yourself that you have to exercise to lose weight. Like the idea of having to exercise to lose weight is dreadful, even for me. That sounds absolutely dreadful. It makes everyone want to throw up in their mouths a little bit, right? If you've already created that resistance and negativity in your mind before taking any action, then you're kind of setting yourself up for failure on the get-go. But if you see exercise and eating healthy as something that grounds you, something that you do for your own mental health, something you do because you love yourself and you respect yourself and it's the right thing to do, that transcends in positivity towards every area of your life, doesn't that sound like something you would so much rather do? So always approach it from a place of abundance if and when you can, not lack. You absolutely can think from a place of abundance and experience positive change in your life. It doesn't have to be like a restriction, negative sort of thing. Because if you think about it that way, it's never gonna happen because we would never be motivated to do that. Nobody wants to torture themselves to do anything. So it's very much about the language that you use and just being focused on abundance and gratitude and those sorts of things rather than something you're missing out on, because that's just that short-term instant gratification sort of style thinking that we're trying to avoid. The C in S.T.A.C.K stands for conflicting information and what to do about it, because there is so much information out there that conflicts, right? There are some people say that a plant-based diet is the best diet to go. There are some people that say that meat-based diet is the best way to go. And then there are people in between that say the paleo diet is the best, or the Mediterranean diet is the best, or this is the best, or that is the best, or you should be doing zone 2 training, zone 1 training, zone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 training. You should be doing HIIT training, cardio training. Like, there is just so much conflicting information. And the truth is that conflicting information is not going away. It's always going to be there, and you cannot follow all sources at once. You can only follow one at a time. If you follow too many different sources of information, what that will do to you is that you will fall into analysis paralysis. And if you get stuck in analysis paralysis, you actually waste your brain power evaluating the options as opposed to taking action. Because it takes a lot of brain power to show up for yourself and make change. So don't waste it too much on spending the time evaluating options. Just pick one and go with it. And then the K in S.T.A.C.K stands for kitchen kryptonite. So fat loss happens in the kitchen, period. It is 90% what you eat. And maybe some exercise will not kill you, but you truly cannot out-exercise a bad diet or a poor diet. So either set up your environment for success in that kitchen by purging, or set up different areas of the kitchen for yourself and for your family members if you live with other people, or hide stuff so it's not within arm's reach. If you shouldn't be eating it, whatever it is, get it out of the kitchen, get yourself out of the kitchen, toss those cookbooks, whatever it is that is literally within your reach. Just be cognizant of your environment, your kitchen, whatever is within your reach, not within your reach. These things might seem very trivial, but there is very much science behind our environment, our habits. If you're interested in learning more, I recommend you read Atomic Habits by James Clear. He talks a lot about the neuroscience of habits and why your environment is very, very important in your decision making. Even if it's as simple as getting the food out of your sight, something like that can make a big difference. So in summary, when you want to stack the deck, at the bottom you have the K. Everything starts with what's in the kitchen and nutrition, right? What you're making in the kitchen. So once you have that in check, it's about understanding your own decision-making process and why you choose the decisions that you do choose at any point in time. Understanding how you can break those patterns if they're not serving you and make new decisions. And as a part of this process, you will learn how to reinforce the lifestyle changes that you need, understand how to overcome any barriers of your mind that may be impacting you, and combined with the knowledge of understanding your own physiology, the science behind the scale, hormonal factors, blood sugar levels, insulin levels, ghrelin, leptin, sleep, stress, emotional management system, understanding how all these things can be stacked in your favor, and that in conjunction with the right decision-making patterns in your mind that you do repeatedly over and over and over again until it becomes an ingrained habit in your head and the neural pathways are literally reformed. And one day you wake up in the mirror and you realize that you are no longer the same person that you used to be, that you've lost the weight and you no longer think or act like the way you used to. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you stack the deck for success with weight loss. If you like this video today, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Let me know down in the comments below where you're at in your weight loss journey. I love hearing from you all, and I will see you guys in the next video. Until next time.